That's right, Galaris. We have got two countrymen, two fellow Polish going up against each other. Is going to be Guru against MaNa, the online warrior, against a veteran of so many lands.
Hey, quite cool to get another Polish player that makes it into the group stage after Laser failed to do so, and Inertio made it. It's going to be a second one. Looking forward to this one. That rematch, it's always such a great setup when a player beats another and then he gets the one that lost gets another chance at redemption here to try and make it out of the
Yeah, it is his time to shine. It looks like he's maybe getting a little bit tired here. It has been a long day for day 2 here at the ESL studios in Poland, but both of these players, no doubt, really want to play in front of that home crowd at Spodek Arena in a couple days.
Look at MaNa, he's all alone up there.
He is.
It's like one of those photos, like everybody left, but I'm still here grinding.
It is like that. From the shadows.
Look at him. Giving the stare even when he's not.
That's right.
Trying to break the curse. I don't even want to talk about this anymore. You know what? Never mind.
Just stop the game. No.
There it is.
Hey, thanks, production. All right, in the top right here of Honor Grounds, we have got Guru. And in the bottom right, from Team Liquid, this is MaNa. Good old Gregory.
These two did play earlier on this map, and MaNa was not successful.
Yeah.
Lost 0-2 in that previous series, and he voiced how much he didn't like this 4-players map. And now we see a very early scout. That's completely understandable. You want to know what the opponent's up to, if there's any kind of early rush coming. You want to play it safe, which can be hard, even on a map like this, where you got some sort of free pocket expansion, so to speak. Drops are still very common with Zerglings, and the earlier you know what your opponent's doing, the better you can counter it. And Guru's actually a pretty tricky, one of those tricky Zergs in a way. As much as he can play standard, he kind of has his own builds. He's kind of like a new generation Tefl. Remember Tefl?
That's a really good point. I remember that, yeah.
Tefl played so strange. And Guru, for the longest time, actually, he had this build where he would go double hatchery before pull. No gas. You would scout it and be like, all right, I'm safe. Let's just, you know, expand, make probes, and be safe. He would mass loading rush you, and he was actually really good if you didn't know how to counter, and it took quite a bit of time for people to adjust and start beating it. So this really goes to show that he has his own style, and you need to respect that.
Yeah, he has an unorthodox, unique way of playing ZvP against Patience. We saw, you know, a lot of Overlord or Dropper Lord Ferry play with Lings, which really pulled Patience apart on Cactus Valley in Game 2. So definitely could clinch a win here against MaNa, like Artosis said. He just believes Patience to be a better Protoss overall, and if Guru can put up such of a close fight, does certainly look good for him on paper, and he did win earlier in the bracket, and there was a very messy series though, but I feel like MaNa can play a lot better than he did in the first time that these guys faced each other in the winners bracket.
I think a lot of these players here, I mean, you've had a long travel for the most part. Even these players from Poland, you know, like for them, they haven't had a long travel, but it's very important because it's in their home country, right? Yeah. So it's still a very important tournament. They kind of put so much pressure on themselves. MaNa even mentioned that in an interview. He was like, you know, maybe it would be nice if I could forget about the pressure and just kind of, you know, play my best. And a good way to go about it is to tell yourself, like, all right, it's just another game of StarCraft. I played so many ladder. Let's just try and play like I usually do on ladder and do pretty well with my builds and my skill. And if you're able to do that and play up to 100%, then you're going to be successful in these games. I'm sure, like, I wouldn't rate MaNa lower than Guru. I think almost certainly.
No, I don't think so. I think the first time that these guys played definitely wasn't, you know, it wasn't MaNa running on all cylinders here. And he does actually save that last probe. So the Ling Scout here of Guru was quite nice. Guess to have a look. BlizzCon throwbacks. And we got Twilight Council follow up here, and this is looking a lot like how Guru played on Cactus Valley actually versus Patience, getting that Overlord speed, getting Ling speed, and probably going to see an Evo chamber shortly as well.
Yeah, it's very safe to go for that because you're basically certain you're going to be able to scout early on, know exactly what Protoss is up to, and then when you want to go into some Dropper Lords with Banelings or with just Zerglings, then it's going to be early, especially on these positions. Even if Guru was to go for, say, like Roach Hydra and MaNa's Turtling on his third base, imagine a big drop in the natural. That could be really hard for him to handle. Dark Shrine now starting for MaNa. This is the standard DT opener with which you can make Archons. You fly across the map with a War Prism, and you take a third base very safely behind these 3 additional gateways. Yes, so it's going to be the one with 4 DTs.
Yeah, lots of DTs here, plenty of production for this stage of the game. So the Evo Chamber did go down for Guru as we kind of expected here, but there's a Roach Warren as well with the Lair, so this is a little bit different for Guru. It's not going to just be straight up Ling. It's going to actually have roaches.
Roaches!
Plenty of them. He hasn't gotten any upgrades for the roaches just yet, but with the Lair, can get roach speed pretty quickly.
This is the thing with Guru, like it's super scary anytime like he reaches Lair and he's gonna choose a tech, because again, this guy is such a wild card. He can throw in pretty much anything. Like if you wanted to just like say like go for Mass Roach here to defend against the Archons and then counterattack with a Tunnel Roach and Overseers to try and kill MaNa, he could do that. He could prevent him from taking a third base for a long time. He's one of those guys that will throw in these attacks at time. Now going for +1 missile attacks, and MaNa starts the third base.
And Guru knows all about this Prism timing here. He's got spores going up in these bases. He has detection here with the Queen in position. Does he have Lings to help out or Roaches to help out as well? The 3 DTs have come here to attack this third, going straight for the Spore Crawler.
Yeah, not going to be able to get it, I think. Yeah, he has to evacuate. Yeah. Not going to be quite like against Stefano in Nation was, when he just killed him with the first few DTs.
And he lost a DT actually, so he can't make it. He has to warp in another one to make those 2 Archons that he needs. Or that he wants it.
Whoa!
Oh, wow. Guru catching this Archon, morphing at the top. I don't know if he'll be able to kill it or not. If before
he will.
Oh, with the Roaches, absolutely, yeah.
That one DT having a field day, but losing an Archon here, this is huge. First he lost a DT, then an Archon. Guru with the great defense here so far.
Very, very well played. He's kind of reading MaNa so well. Oh, wow. Could be very fast tier 3 or just straight up Infestive.
What about Swarmost? You just send Locust into the natural and keep on sniping it.
It's actually quite smart.
It's super hard to counter on this map and in this position.
I was just about to say, this map actually lends itself to that kind of play. You can abuse a lot of terrain here. Immortal follow-up here for MaNa, but unfortunately loses a lot of the punch because his Archon drop just lost 50% of its power with the Archon being killed there.
Oh man, another one of these pylons on these gates. IEM Katowice.
The in-control pylon.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, right there. And so the Immortals are starting to come out here, the Robotech's going down, and there's those Swarm hosts you wanted, Todd.
It's so hard to counter because not only like you need to see it coming, you also need to devise some sort of a plan where you're going to do a lot of Warp Prism harassment, trying to threaten that third base. Catching these guys is almost impossible out on the map. And once the Locust land into your natural the first time, if you're not aware this is coming, that's the Nexus dead instantly. You have to re-expand elsewhere a lot of the time, because if you remake that Nexus, he's just going to keep on dying. If you attack into the Zerg, he's usually going to have enough units on the ground to cover his Swarm host so that the next wave of Locusts will actually fight your army, and then you can't break through. MaNa actually with 4 additional gateways, he's going to have to make a choice instantly as soon as he realizes that there is Swarm host and Locust here. And actually he's in a position where, oh my god, if he was to force field these...
Yeah, MaNa does have a pretty nice army here, and he is going to catch...
Oh, they went away.
Yeah, the Locusts are going to go in and hit this back natural. The back pocket natural of MaNa is under siege from these units. MaNa pressing the issue, starting to
this is actually a scary time here because Guru made this many Swarm hosts. Oh, actually the Nexus is going to survive. Yeah, he doesn't have as many units on the ground as he should. So these force fields here, but still are going to land. And at depths are going to go towards the main base now. Actually, he should cancel that Shade, I think, and make sure he kills that third. The Infestation Pit is right there, actually. If he kills that, then the Swarm host will be trapped in the main. This could be great here for MaNa.
Absolutely huge. The Warp Prism hasn't been... there it is, it's powered up, and he is starting to warp in reinforcements here. The Observer here as well.
Yeah, run away.
Yeah, can't fight against these Locusts. Needs to wait for their cooldown to go away.
The great thing about this... Oh, actually, the Swarm was overextending a little bit. The great thing about this is that because these Locusts are headed towards this army, they cannot be going for the Nexus again. So MaNa is retaking that Nexus. He's going to use the mobility here of these Adepts to go straight into the main and then Shade outside of there.
Yeah, very, very true, and he's doing a little bit of damage here as he does. Not huge amounts of damage, but 5 drones is quite nice, especially getting into the front third here, getting up to 11 drone kills.
He's killing the 4th base at the same time. Wow,
well played.
What a boss. He's still behind in supply though, because there is a ton of roaches on the map, which he's gonna need to respect. Guru might be forced to all in here.
I think so. When you take this much econ damage and losing that hatchery, I feel like it forces the Zerg's hand, absolutely, and he is making a lot of units here. This is actually a little bit rough. He does have to pull out, and he does.
There is no proper anti-air, though, besides this Queen, so this Warp Prism can just kind of keep on flying around and keep on threatening this base.
Oh, another hatchery kill!
What a boss!
The double Immortal drops. A bit of an old-school tactic here for the Prism and double Immortal for the Protoss coming back into fashion and being so effective.
15 drones have been sniped. Oh no, the counter attack from the
Oh my god, these
Locust
Lakers really close to killing this Nexus.
there. Oh!
Oh, it has 2 hit points.
Well, not for much longer. I see something positioning on the right-hand side, so... It was, I guess he gets a couple seconds extra to mine from this. Actually, if he was to catch that... Whoa, the army of MaNa threatening this... No. No, not like this.
Yeah, the Lucas do get in here. Yeah, he just has to right-click on it and it does go down. If he doesn't micro this, the Nexus will live.
Actually, I think MaNa might shade in here and go for the fight. He's got a lot. He's got Immortals reinforcing that position. Adepts are doing all the tanking and there's not going to be any Locusts anytime soon.
And that Nexus lived as well, Todd. He can pick up a couple of these Immortals into the Prism, get those hurt ones, the other one's microing back, but he probably will lose it. Shading again! More drone kills here for MaNa. Guru against the ropes, he just takes damage all over the map.
Yeah, shading in might have been a mistake. Guru had too many roaches there. And he's looking great now. He's got a huge supply lead, 96 army supply to 49. There's only 2 pylons on that third base, and a couple of overcharges were used for the natural, so Guru might be able to break through that base.
Guru needs to kill MaNa right now with this attack. The Swarm Host doing a lot of damage from the back. The Roaches, the meat shields at the front, tearing through these Adepts. And this Nexus is in a lot of trouble, like you said. Not too much energy for these overcharges. The DT's coming out to help. Don't think there's any Overseers here. There's no detection, actually, for the Zerg army, so he has to pull back. Has to respect the fact that these DTs can kill a lot of these very, very expensive units. Bit of Warp Prism Micro for these Immortals, targeting down those Swarm Hosts.
What a ridiculous game here we're seeing between these two. Wow, MaNa is going to hold on for now. Kind of evening up the supply. That Nexus is still kind of low on hit points, but regenerating his shields. I can't believe these Swarm Hosts never got caught here, by the way, in that position. It felt like it wasn't going to happen. They never really all got sniped. There's still 4 of them. They don't have that many hit points. And all of a sudden, we've got 61 drones to 31 probes. MaNa about to lose a Nexus there this time.
Yeah, I mean, all he needs to do is micro these and the Nexus absolutely goes down. There it is. He did get a lot more income than we thought he would from that Nexus. And,
how far from mining out is Guru, by the way? Because he's got like a nice worker lead, so... The main base still got a few minerals, natural as well. Yeah, he's still got a decent amount of minerals. And because that base was sniped as well, he's going to have more left over. I like the choice of expanding at 12 o'clock instead of on the right-hand side here for Guru, because that base would have been more... Like, if MaNa goes all the way up there, then maybe, you know, he gets countered attack and he's going to be in trouble. But right now, Guru is going to poster forward here with a ton of units.
You have Swarm Host and some Ravagers. Not the whole army here, and it looks like the double Archon Prism play coming in here for MaNa, getting a bit more damage done, taxing the multitask of Guru here.
Actually, I think I was looking at the wrong number, but down there, Guru has only 43 walkers to 50. Yeah, so he's not actually that high, but being able to saturate across this many bases, he's still going to be in an okay position. Army-wise, though, it's about even, and usually it's a good sign for Protoss, even though these Swarm Hosts and Roaches are kind of hard to attack into. MaNa overextended earlier with one of his attacks, so he must be... I would have said he would be hesitant right now to engage, but he's actually going for it. And he's got a lot, Maynard.
Yeah, no hesitation here. Shade forward from these Adepts, and he's engaging right in the heart of the Zerg's army. Takes the hatchery out again. The Swarm Host here trying to pull back that Protoss army and succeeding. One Archon caught and taken out here, and the other one should go down as well.
Okay, MaNa must be starting to suspect that there is a base at 12 o'clock because he sees that there is not one on the right-hand side. He knows that Guru's kind of broke. And actually, this could be very, very important there if he makes sure that Guru is not mining from this base. If he gets a couple of drones, this could be huge. But Warp Prism, very low on hit points. There is a Queen there targeting it down, so he's going to have to be very, very careful. Back at home, let's take a look at his army. Yeah, this is scary, but I think MaNa should have enough. Yeah, especially, oh my, these Archons plus Immortals.
Yeah, it's the
they destroy this army.
Yeah, for sure. And just +1 upgrades for these Protoss units, but 1 is done for the Zerg. Just +1 attack for the ranged and the melee units. Well, we see that he is starting to hit on this 4th base location for MaNa, which I guess is his 3rd, but GG is forced to be tapped out here, and MaNa is going to take game number 1. Last time Swarm Host, he thinks.
Wow, what a sick game from MaNa. That was the one attack and timing that was going to bring him success here. If he had attacked 1 minute later, like he shakes his head, I think he probably shakes his head at the attack that he went into where he shaded the Adepts the first time, the big attack, because he thought he had enough, but there was a lot of units up the ramp and maybe some roaches in the back that the Adepts' vision wasn't allowing him to see. So there was quite a bit more than he thought, and he lost a lot of units there, and then from there, I thought he might be in bigger trouble than he actually was. He did a very good job holding on. Not sniping that Nexus, by the way. when he could have the second time, that was a big mistake by Guru, because that would have cut the resources of MaNa by a lot.
Yeah, absolutely right. They were just on auto attack and just they were hitting the cannons.
Yeah, they went for a pylon, like that was
Yeah.
overcharged, and then maybe a gas or something. That was just not good.
Yeah, a bit of a mistake there for Guru. There was a few mistakes in that game from both players, but unfortunately does have to tap out. It was a pretty good slugfest for a while there. It's good to see MaNa back in form a little bit. Like Honor Grounds, when these guys last played, was an absolute crushing, but it kind of just snowballed from the fact that Guru just got Lings into his main and went on from there.
That game was sick. Like, this is all you want from a StarCraft game. Macro, a lot of fights here and there.
Yeah, lots of
a
fun.
slugfest. That's what we want.
It's a bloodbath. Absolute bloodbath.
I want that supply to go up and down.
And you'll be looking at it the whole time, Todd.
Like it's bungee jumping, man. And it was this game, actually. They kept on trading non-stop.
Yeah, it
trading
wasn't.
for that lead.
Sometimes, you know, we'd see that the army supply of Guru would be double that of MaNa, but he'd control fights so well and his units were so high-tech that he'd be able to, you know, be able to hold against what Guru had and keep that advantage, or the econ advantage that he had for pretty much that whole game. Killing hatcheries all game. Like, how many hatcheries did he kill that game? Like 4?
Yeah, quite a few.
Yeah.
It was actually quite superb, this first attack, where like he kills the third base, kills the fourth, behind it, then re-kills it. Like, it's, I have to say, like, very, very impressed with MaNa from that game 1.
That's right. In the bottom right here on Belshir Vestige. He's going to need to win the next 2 if he wants to go to Spodek. This is Guru. And 1 game away from that old familiar cheering crowd. This is MaNa. Every time I see him here in Poland, I think about that Krakow crowd, that Season 3 final.
And I'm sure he would love to play in front of the Polish audience once again. That was epic. So would be playing in the Spodek in front of all the Polish fans, which are amazing, by the way. Shout out to NetWars and all these guys.
Yeah, absolutely love to NetWars. Whenever I meet them, they are the huge Passion Lords. They travel all the way to LA for every BlizzCon as well. I never don't see the brothers that are in charge of NetWars at these events. It's really something special, the Polish crowd.
MaNa's probably pretty happy about the map as well. Like in their previous series, they played Honor Grounds just like they did now in the first map, but the other map was Cactus Valley, another 4-player map on which it can be quite tricky, you know, to defend that third base, to scout early on because it's a 4-player map. So on Belshir Vestige, you got that safe early on scout that allows you to see pretty much everything the opponent's doing. And I'm sure MaNa is going to feel very comfortable on this map, which has been around forever, and guess what? So has he.
Exactly. He is a veteran. He's been around so long. He's been criticized for his inconsistency, you know, especially after the first series that he played against Guru. You know, everyone expected a little bit better, but he's been pretty consistently awesome since then. And that trend, hopefully, for MaNa fans, does continue into game number 2. So we see that Guru actually went for hatch first, then pool and gas. There's a little bit of greed there. And MaNa looking pretty stock standard back at home.
MaNa used to be a little bit of a one-trick pony against Zerg. Like, he will use the Stargate almost every single time. We don't see him do that as much anymore, but I wouldn't blame him here if he was to go for it. It's still a very strong build. It's played very differently, you know. Back then it was like Phoenixes into Colossus, into timing. I'm talking Wings of Liberty there.
Yeah.
But nowadays you see a lot more Oracles, and then maybe into sometimes Carriers. I don't think MaNa has to, though, and it's not necessarily his style as much either. I'm surprised that Guru... well, to be honest, I'm not that surprised because a lot of pro gamers do that. Like, they're very results-oriented. But he talked about the Swarm Host. I don't think the Swarm Host was the reason. I actually think the Swarm Host put him in a pretty good position after he sniped the first Nexus. But I think maybe because he's not super used of using them, that's what was his downfall, because he made mistakes here and there, especially against the attacks of MaNa, which, again, like, these were perfect.
Yeah.
Not many Protosses are going to react as well as MaNa did. Actually, in fact, very, very few of them.
We've been really spoiled with a whole lot of different Protosses that's, you know, stylistically in this tournament. We got Kerr, who likes to go for, you know, the super heavy air army in PvZ. We had DNS, likes to go for the double Oracle transitions. Got the
Protoss players like Protoss units.
They sure do.
A bit of everything. Guru actually has a winning record against MaNa, 5-3 in series.
Different beast when you're playing in these big lands, though. MaNa has that experience in a sort of arena situation like this, whereas Guru definitely has a lot of these results from online tournaments.
Dark Shrine opener here once again from MaNa. We're most likely going to see 3 additional gateways here in a second. He had success in the previous game with that. Even though actually the initial start was pretty bad. Remember, he lost the DT, then an Archon. If MaNa can start gathering momentum, he's going to pile on with the aggression, with the proper macro behind this to really be in a good position going further into the game. Oh, I like this. He places a gate there so he can warp down the ramp with quick warp-ins if he wants to reinforce towards the middle of the map.
Yeah,
we've seen more and more Protosses do this nowadays.
Can actually help you with the Zergs coming up into the natural as well for playing like that.
Resonating plays
okay.
start quite early, so...
This usually means you're going to be a little bit aggressive.
Yeah, maybe a couple DTs into a lot of adepts. Maybe he drops a couple additional gateways. Because on this map it's very hard to scout, and Guru last game he opened pneumatized carapace, right? Early on. Now he didn't. So how would you scout? Well, if MaNa makes the gates in the back of his main.
Oh, very true. I mean, the slow Overlord did have a look in the main, but he really didn't scout too much tech. All of the tech here is actually at the front wall, but he hasn't seen a ton of it. DTs are warping in. Guru is aware that the DTs have started.
Yeah, Guru actually quits making walkers a little bit early here. It's interesting that he's not going roaches, he's going +1 melee and banelings. Against DTs, it can be kind of hard to defend against that, so he's making sure he has enough Zerglings, but it means that he's, I guess, not making as many drones as he should be right now because of that.
Well, what he's going for is actually quite good against heavy adept play. You know, the Baneling Nest, the +1 Zergling.
Yeah, but not Archons.
Yeah, but not Archons. Zerglings suck against Archons.
Let's see if MaNa drops down a lot of gates here in a second, because he's in 46 probes right now. If he made like 5 more gates right now, or 4, I think MaNa would be in a great position.
Absolutely, double Archon play here with the Prism. Getting a little bit of damage done here at this third hatchery. The Spore Crawler making a little dicey for that Warp Prism. Does pull out.
Coming up. Already having the Warp Prism also encourages an attack, and Guru is going to take matters into his own hands. He goes across the map with a lot of links and Morphous Banelings. I'm not sure this was spotted, but it's about to be here for sure.
Wow.
MaNa is going to have to get a lot of units in defense here. Use the overcharges perfectly to make sure he defends. Look at that one pylon, is super exposed. And links.
That pylon is powering so much. He just gets that wall in just in time. The Robo looks like it's going to go down here very, very quickly. A lot of link flood coming in here. Is it going to be enough for MaNa to be able to hold? The pylon is going to... Whoa, he actually left that pylon alive. That's a lot of the production here. And Ling's getting force-filled out. They're getting into the main. The DTs will clean them up eventually, but let's see how many probes they take with them.
This is supposed to be better for Guru. If he can hold on at home, he's going to do a ton of damage to MaNa's economy. Already 9 probes have died. And those Queens, they're putting in work here against these Archons.
I think MaNa's going to hold here. He's losing 12. He's lost 12 probes, but he's doing a lot of damage to Guru on the other side of the map as well.
Somehow MaNa is getting the better exchanges there. This is not the way this is supposed to go. I think Guru really messed up, but not sniping that pylon. That would be no warp-ins happening for a long time.
That was like
if he had
3
done that.
gateways and the Dark Shrine and everything was there. So he's pulled drones to the natural here. Adepts are in the main, tearing it apart. The natural has just been cleared out from these Archons. The Archon's coming back into the third though with a bit more shield damage.
Yeah, Guru is struggling a lot against, like I said, Archons are pretty good against Zerglings and Banelings, and MaNa is proving that right now. He's going to pick up these guys and save them at the last second, drop them down and snipe the remainder of the Zerglings. Guru's supply is plummeting right now.
I think this might be it, Todd. This is so close to being critical damage. MaNa is just shredding the Polish Zerg apart.
Yeah. And behind this, he has a 3-base economy, way more workers. I think MaNa's done it. Guru messed up big time there. Not good enough defense at home and not good enough offense across the map. Leaving that pylon alive, I cannot believe somebody showed mercy to an Artosis pylon.
You mean in control pylon, right? Artosis is here. You've got to be nice to him.
No, I don't.
And he just lies like, what, man? Get out of here. Don't have to be nice to anyone, I'm Todd. Anyway, we have a lot of damage done here by MaNa, and Guru is, you know, this is his tournament lifeline, so he is going to try and hold on here, see what he can muster from what he has left, which unfortunately for him is not a whole lot. He's got these Lings, Roaches, and Ravagers. And the Archons coming in again for more drone kills. Adepts coming in, getting their own share of drone kills. Shading around, pulling Guru apart. Guru can't even leave his creep.
MaNa is doing this perfectly as well. Like, he's dropping down the Archons in the third base, sending Adepts, and using the mobility into the natural, then into the main with the Shades. And he's going to get the third base. GG gets called, and MaNa will advance on to the group stage of the Intel Extreme Masters World Championship.
Well played to the Team Liquid veteran. The first blue shirt from the Team Liquid team to go through, along with the pink shirt guys. You'll join his brethren, Thermal and Snoot. 3 Team Liquid players going to Spodek in a couple days' time, Thursday here. And good old MaNa. It's great to see him in form again. Very, very good series against Guru. Complete opposite of the first series he played against Guru, where he was wearing the daddy pants. He was absolutely in charge and just dictated the flow of every single of those games.
And this is what you see a lot of the times when players get a chance at a rematch. MaNa made the right adjustments, and I have to say I'm very impressed with the way he played this.
Very well played indeed. We're going to take a short break, and then after that, we're going to have the winners interview with MaNa, and then head to the boys on the desk to wrap things up for the day. So do not go away. See you soon.
It came down to one final qualifying match for Bracket D, and MaNa moves forward to the group stage. MaNa, earlier I talked about a huge sigh of relief, but now you can finally take that huge sigh of relief as you are moving on to that group stage that I'm sure you were dying to move on to.
There we go, that's the sigh of relief. Yeah, I feel okay with the games that I played. I definitely could have played much better. My standards are much higher than that. I practice a lot at the bootcamp, and my skill has risen a lot, I think, but I couldn't show it in here today, so hopefully I'll get in top of my shape for the group stage.
Well, you're saying that you weren't completely satisfied with what happened, but still, earlier when you faced Guru, it was an 0-2 for him, and now you flipped that completely around. It was a 2-0 for yourself, so this time, what was different?
I was a little bit more solid, and it feels like Guru was back to being him old self. In the first match that we played, he played much better, and I would say, like, it's difficult to say, but I can honestly say, in my opinion, that luck was on his side in that, and I was very unlucky in the series before. But it's just the things that happen in tournaments, and this time was him, and luckily for me, the decider match was luck on my side.
Well, I know you were saying that you weren't completely satisfied with your performance, and in fact, after that first map, which we loved watching, it was so exciting, you were actually shaking your head. You didn't seem happy about it at all, so why was that?
It's because this situation with Swarmhouse and like me trying to finish the game happened before at the bootcamp actually versus Snut, and we were trading blows. I was attacking and I was losing, then he was counter-attacking, hoping to win, and he was losing, and it happened over and over and over again. So I was shaking my head because I should have known better already, because I was in this situation I should have experienced, but yet I did the same mistakes again. But luckily I won. He was moving his swarm was forward all the time and lost a lot of them carelessly, so it was luck for me.
So you're talking about making the same mistakes again. If this happens one more time, what are the things you want to do differently to not make those same mistakes again?
I think I need to judge better what kind of army he has, because I was being overconfident with how much economical damage and how much the swarm was used to cost, so he shouldn't have too much money. And I overestimated that, and he had much more army than I expected him to have, as well as I let him take a 4th base, which shouldn't be the case since I was pretty much all active on the map and just had a much better map control.
Well, of course, now you are moving on to that group stage, and you mentioned it a bit earlier that you're putting a lot of pressure on yourself as this is a tournament in Poland. How much additional pressure are you also feeling, because this is also a very important WCS tournament?
Actually, I'm not thinking about it as WCS tournament. I can honestly say that. I'm just thinking of it like a big tournament in Poland, again in IEM Katowice. I still remember the first time I heard that IEM is coming to Katowice just as a stop, and now we are here at the World Championship. And this is yet, I think, the biggest IEM that ESL has done so far for StarCraft, so it would be great to perform well. I'm in a group stage, and the guys in the group stage are mega strong players, so I'm not going to put any pressure on me. I already did my minimal goal. I will try to move forward from here, and I'll try to do my best.
Well, congratulations again, and also congratulations on bringing that pink jersey. Of course, it seems blue jersey does move on, and with that, it'll be MaNa that is our 12th and final player to move on from the open bracket.
Indeed he is. Thank you very much, Smix, as we now take a look at everything that has gone on throughout the first couple of days here, or at least today, with bracket number 3 and bracket number 4. You can see here, bracket number 3 is as follows. Nurchio and Gumiho were able to take their first 2 spots there with some very, very nice records moving on through. Down towards the lower bracket, you're seeing there that Japji was able to triumph down the line, taking on Korean after Korean. Any surprises for you guys there in bracket number 3?
Not really. I mean, these look like the players you would expect to get through. Obviously, it was a very tough group, but no, I don't think it's too shocking, and also it's definitely players you can be really excited about moving forward.
Okay. And then, of course, we have bracket number 4 as well, which we can take a look at as is just concluded right now. Patience and Ryung take the 2 top spots there as the 2 Koreans do advance on forwards. Then, coming up down towards the lower bracket, MaNa fights through a grueling couple of matches and finds himself a spot to potentially play in front of the Polish crowd. So another Polish player getting on through there, Rotterdam. Some good victories for him.
Absolutely. I mean, he really looked so good ever since he dropped to the lower bracket. He just played fantastic, and I think it's very characteristic for a guy like MaNa to be a little critical of his play, even at the end there. We are sitting here, we're all looking at each other like, oh my god, this game's sick, like he's playing really well. Like game 1, I think, was fantastic, and I actually thought he made a lot of great calls. So, like, I mean, yeah, Guru had a lot of units, but if you just sit back against farm modes, it becomes really hard. So I was incredibly impressed. Game 2, I agree with the cast. Like, what on earth happened there with that pylon? If that pylon dies, he loses 3 gateway production. So that he feels critical about that one, I can maybe sort of understand. But I was very impressed with MaNa, and I like these 3 guys advancing of this group as well.
Right, well, gentlemen, it is now time to talk about the groups and reveal them to the world here for the Intel Extreme Masters Katowice. So without further ado, we can take a look at the groups to start things off. This will be Group A, and I can barely see it because my eyes have gone really, really bad.
Beyond Solar,
Hero were the first 3 that qualified on through via qualification as well as invites. Then we have Hero Marine, Ryung, as well as Snoot. So, gentlemen, what do we make of this first group?
And read them all at once.
It's going to be very fun to cast Hero versus Hero Marine.
I can't wait.
Well, at least we can just call him Marine and hopefully get away with it that way, right?
All right, Telstas, what do you think?
It's a hard group. Like, you look at it, and it's got Snoot in it, which is already super scary, and then Hero and Beyond are absolutely 2 of the best in the world. Solar is at BlizzCon. Like, I think I'm going to have to say that for every group, though. I don't know. I mean,
right, yeah.
It's hard to even predict who is going to pop out of something like this.
I look forward to the TVT, and I don't say this very often, by the way, but I want to see if Beyond can finally put a stoppage to this TVT domination of Ryung. I think that's going to be a sick match. I'm very, very excited.
Hero Marine against Ryung, who just beat Maru in TVT, is going to be?
No, I was talking about Beyond.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. It's so late. But I was like, really? Like, I mean, Herobrain's very good.
no,
but...
I was talking about Beyond, man.
Okay, no,
Are you
that's
saying
good.
Herobrine
That's
doesn't have a
good.
chance? Anyway, okay, let's get on to it. It's going to be Group B now. Let's move on a little bit further. So to start things off in there was Neeb, TY, and Alive. And my eyes, they're dead to Steve Smith.
Stats, Harstem, and Jakji.
Okay, so 2 more Protoss to enter that, and Jakji, that is a strong, fearsome group.
There's going to be a lot of PVTs. That's
Yeah.
one thing we can say for sure.
I think Neeb is going to probably like that with the strength of his PvP coming in. So that's nice. And I think Alive probably is not going to like this group all that much.
I'm really curious how Jakji is going to do in this group.
Yeah.
He's been playing really well today, but I think him getting deeper and deeper in this tournament would be pretty crazy. I feel like Jakji, as for all the good players we have, he's kind of like that extra in the Star Trek episode where it's like, well, he might die first, but, you know, the story can go on amongst the very good players. But who knows? This could be his tournament.
Yeah, I agree with Tasteless there. This is a group where I can see him somehow maybe go 4-1, but if he goes 1-4, I don't think we're all going to be super strong. Be like, wasn't his day, let's move on. So he's an interesting case, and also, Neeb's PvP. I also think that TY looks at this and he's like, sure, bring it on.
I think Harstem is going in this, and he's made a poor strategic choice to be in this group because he was saying all he wants to do is dodge Terrans. That's like his strat against him.
Yeah, true.
But I mean, we're going to have to see with what he sounded like in his interview, how unconfident he sounded against Terran. I think we're going to see a lot of pylon rushes, man.
Maybe. All right, on to Group C now, as we do start.
You got this one?
With yes, I do. It's going to be Zest, True, and Cyril, who were the original members. Then we do have Patience, Nurtio, and Pili to round things out. So no Terrans in this one. We're getting some very odd makeups of these groups.
We are. Like, you know, we heard that Cyril is just like really good against Protoss right now, so it'd be nice to see him test it out here, throwing in. And we know that Pili really likes Sky Toss and stuff, so we'll see how Cyril deals with that.
Yeah, I definitely think Cyril should make it out of this group. And then I would say that I think that Nurtio has a chance. This is not a group where I feel the Koreans will be super dominant.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, I can look very stupid and it's going to be Cess winning and Patience second or something. But I have a good feeling. I think this is going to be the group where the foreigners can have a strong showing. And how can you not be excited about Pili, man? The kid has such a great run here in the open bracket. If he can continue it through a group like this, like, that would be amazing.
That would be a dream tournament for him, for Pili. Yeah. So now let's take a look at our final group, Group D, to round things out. Dark, Showtime, and Innovation were the originals, and we have Youth Thermal, and that is Gumiho, and finally MaNa to join this group. What are we thinking, boys?
It was already like kind of a group of death.
Yes.
Having Showtime, Dark, and Innovation is like pretty crazy. And
I'm curious to see how Dark's going to do here. You know, he's obviously been pretty dominant in the past, but a tournament like this, I'm wondering how far can he really get? I mean, this is such a different beast.
It is very different. You're right about that. When you compare that to the Korean tournaments where you're playing maybe like one match a day, unless you're in the groups where it's actually a proper group. This is a 6-man round robin. That in itself, in one day, is a marathon. Never mind the whole tournament, right?
But that's so cool as well, because you're not going to have the guy that has 2 best of 3s that kind of suit him well suddenly advance, and we all question how good is he truly. No, you're going to have to play everybody. Looking forward to Dark for sure. Dark is still my favorite Zerg in the world. I mean, Solar is awesome, Su is great, but Dark has something special. I really think whenever you watch him, whether it's his stream or at BlizzCon, amazing to watch. Cool group for you, Thermo as well. I think Showtime looks at it and be like, I think that's doable. I mean, all the groups look amazing. This is going to be so much fun. I wish it was tomorrow, Clara.
That's right. We are taking a day off in terms of just getting everything set up for the groups to come. So thank you very much, gentlemen on the desk. It's been a pleasure. Thank you very much for tuning in around the world here as Intel Extreme Masters Katowice continues on March the 2nd as we bring you it live here from the Spodek in the auditorium. So thank you very much for tuning in, and we'll see you on March the 2nd.